video. Full screen. Play. Howdy, 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 hi, everybody. Guinness 77 here with the next ship. This is the Montana Tier 10 United States battleship. Oh. Yeah, for some reason, this ship has the worst reputation of all the Tier 10 battleships. Lowest performer. I don't know why it does, because I have played several battles in it. I've looked it over, and there are some stats where it's not the top of the pile, but it's still a very formidable combat warship. So why on earth would so many people in the World of Warships community be down on it? Well, my guess is it boils down to play style. You've really got to keep your head on a swivel if you're going to drive this ship. We're going to talk a bit about the combat strategy for this ship. We'll also go over the numbers. Got to do that, you know. But we'll talk about the play style, and it does have one. She's a good-looking ship. Here's her armor layout. You can see the amount of armor they put into the guns it's middle of the road. It's not bad. It's not great. Now here's her citadel. Now, don't let these numbers fool you. This is a soft citadel, even though it's at or below the water line. There's something you have to bear in mind if you play this ship. Don't let yourself get hit broadside, because you're going to take damage. She's not the softest. At least numbers don't appear to be that way. But you are going to have to be mindful about where the enemy is. The other reason you want to put your head on a swivel is in target selection. Do not focus on one target. Instead, search for the target that is most broadside to you. As for her hit points, she is actually number 2 on the list. The Yamato is better, the Kremlin is better, the Grosser Kerber first is better, but everybody else is worse. So the hit points aren't really all that bad. Now her guns are tied for the worst. The Grosser Kerr first is only got 406 millimeter. That's 16 inch, and so does she. She's got 12 of them. And if she hits an enemy broadside, 12 16-inch shells coming in, that's gonna lay in the hurt. You'll get to see it. Take a look at her HE. 36% is really good. And the reason why you want to pay attention to that is because these main guns with her armor piercing shells cannot penetrate 32 millimeter bow armor. And most Tier 10 ships have 32 millimeter bow armor, which means that if a ship is nose on to you, you're not going to penetrate that armor. So you're going to want to switch from from armor piercing to high explosive. Don't be afraid to do that in this ship. And when you do, look at that, 36% chance of causing a fire. You're going to burn them down. And that's worthwhile. Now, something else to bear in mind is look at the velocity. That's a fairly big difference in velocity. So when you switch from high explosive to armor piercing or armor piercing to high explosive, you're going to have to change your point of aim. And that's just something to bear in mind. One more thing to think about if you're driving this ship. Her secondary armament scores very well. She gets a 96 on the overall scale. But when you compare her to the other ships, the Yamato, the Kremlin, the Grosser Kurfürst, the Conqueror, the Republic, she's actually quite good. So good that you really don't need to put a secondary build on this ship. Not unless you're planning on pushing in a heck of a lot closer than you need to. Her AA is also very good. Only one ship is better, and that's the Kremlin. So you don't need to put an AA build on this ship, not unless you really just want to pulverize anything that comes by you. Now on maneuverability, her speed 30 is actually pretty good. There's a couple of ships that can match her, but no one can beat her. So for speed, that's pretty good. As for rudder shift, she's really middle of the road. But bear in mind that the 17.8 second rudder shift time that you see on your screen is a modified stat. I have already put on some modifications to the ship that you can put on, and you'll see them as we get further in this video. Bone stock, this ship's maneuverability absolutely sucks. You don't want to leave her rudder shift bone stock because she's just like a lumbering whale. I think bone stock, it's a 22.6 second rudder shift, which means you're basically at 16 to 17 seconds before the ship really begins to make a noticeable turn. So definitely put on the rudder shift. Unless you're the type of captain who likes to hang out at the edge of the screen and lob shells in from long distances, and maybe you'll land a few now and again. But most of you don't do that. Now her concealment by sea, 16, now that's a modified number again, is very good. And by air, 11.6, which is also a modified number, is also superb. So I don't know why the World of Warships community is down on this ship so much. Maybe it's because she just can't take many hits without showing some sizable damage. Let's take a look at the modules. 4 modules. Of course, she has the spotting aircraft. And you've all seen that many times before, I'm sure. 4 of them. That's not bad. And she's got repair party. I'm sure you've all seen that before. No big deal. And she's got her damage control party. I'm sure you've all seen that. No big deal. Alright, now this is where you really need to outfit the ship to suit your play style. This is just what I did. And it might not fit your play style. I went with Main Armaments Modification 1. The reason I went with that one was because you really do not need Auxiliary Armaments Modification 1. I mean, the ship has got great auxiliaries, and you certainly do not need the magazine Mod 1. Your magazines in this ship are not going to be penned unless you have a lucky shot come in from a Yamato. And you can see the bonuses that it provides there. In the second slot, I went with Damage Control System Mod 1. This is actually a no-brainer, because your engine room is not going to get taken out on a battleship. Not unless it's just a lucky pen. In the third slot, I chose Main Battery Mod 2 over the others, and it's because the turret rotation was kind of lousy in this ship. But when you combine the assorted modifications that you can do to speed up your turret rotation, you have no problems. Now the secondary battery modification mod 1, the secondaries are very good in this ship. You really don't need that. Your AA in this ship is quite good. You don't need to turn it into an AA platform. The plotting room mod 1 only really benefits the secondaries. And your secondaries are pretty good. So I skipped auxiliary plotting room modification 1 and stuck with main battery mod 2. In the fourth slot, I went with steering gears mod 1 because the rudder shift in this ship is really awful. Propulsion mod 1 is cool if you choose to use the ship as an ambush ship, because you can leap out from behind islands real quick. Damage control mod 2 isn't shabby either, but I chose steering gears. Note, if you are a player that hangs out at the outside edges of the map and does long-range sniping, avoid steering gears mod 1. It will do nothing for you. In the fifth slot, I went with concealment system mod 1. I went with that for a couple of reasons. Number one, torpedo lookout is something I'm not really going to use, and ship's consumable mod 1 isn't something that I really need, because I have plenty of consumables. So concealment mod 1 was the way to go. I thought ship consumables mod 1 was pretty good, but not in my mind. It just didn't weigh out. In the last slot, I went with plotting room mod 2. That is an 11% improvement in the maximum dispersion of your main battery shells. That, my friends, is a very useful tool. That makes your guns a heck of a lot more accurate. Main battery mod 3 is also quite useful, although it does change the performance a bit. I just thought that plotting room 2 mod was more useful for me. Alright, so my captain, Dasha Perova. I can't help it. I got a thing for petite brunettes. Dasha's hot. And for the captain's skills, I went with incoming fire alert. When that thing goes off and you've got good rudder shift, you can dodge a lot of incoming fire. That's why I went with that. Expert marksman. This is another mod to increase turret rotation. Very valuable, especially if you push in close. If you stay far out on the edge of the screen, you don't need that. Adrenaline rush. This is something that I don't usually pick up, but I did for this ship because I know it's going to take some hits the way I play, and it's going to cut down on reload time the more damage I take. Finally, of course, I went with basics of survivability. That's a very good one for overall benefit and help to your endurance. Alright, so for exterior, maybe I'll put some of the more expensive camouflage on later, but Christ, they've thrown so many at me, I'll just grab one here, go with that. Now for signals, I'm going to go with Sierra Mike to give me a little bit more speed. I'm going to go with India Delta to give me a little bit more health when I need to use the repair party. I'm going to give my secondaries a little boost. Can't hurt. Victor Lima, which increases the likelihood of causing fires if any of my HE shells land. Papa Papa for some free XP. India Bravo, Terra 3. This is actually pretty important when you're playing this ship. This is an expensive ship to run, as you'll see. And then Hydra. Alright, let's get into some battles. Let's see what we can do. On this ship, keep your head on a swivel. Look for enemies with broadsides. And try not to get hit on your broadside. So plan ahead. Plan ahead. Remember that this ship will not penetrate bow armor on just about any other ship. That's a tier 10 battleship, that is. Technically, she will not penetrate 32 millimeter bow armor or greater. So you're going to have to switch over to HE. Now on this map, I'm going to head towards C for just a bit. Then I'm going to break off towards the number 1 line, which means I can shoot towards C and I'll be able to hit an enemy ship broadside. It also means that if there's enemy ships coming up the 1 or 2 line, I can throw it into left rudder and I can get good broadside shots off on them. I'm going to have to pick my poison. Wait a minute. Something's wrong. Oh! What was I thinking? Ah, much better. Alright. So, happy hunting everybody, here we go. I'll zip ahead a bit in the video. A little bit more. Excuse me. And I know someone's about to pop up. Yep, there it is. Well, maybe I can land one. Maybe. I think that rock is going to take one of my shots. Yeah. Maybe I'll land one. Ooh, destroyer. Close. Not good. So I'll designate him for my secondaries. Hey, one of my shots ricocheted. Well, that's something. This destroyer has decided he wants to hurt. Oh, lucky bum! First salvo shot at me, and he put me on fire. God, that makes me mad. I know. My shells are gonna overpan. Could do better. I should be firing HE. I don't want to hit my own guy. Oh, he hit the brakes. Got him. Now notice, I've got some enemies over here I can hit. Some enemies over here that I can hit. Most people driving this ship will push from wherever they start towards the center of the map. And the reason why is because it gives them the best opportunity to hit ships on the number 10 line or the number 1 line and get some good broadside targets in. As long as you keep your head on a swivel, you can do that. Just realize you got the ships in the middle to deal with. Well, maybe I can hurt this guy. I'm gonna let these shots land before I stop. Figures. Alright. I don't know if you noticed over here on my health, but I was on fire, and the fire alone knocked out all that darker green shaded area. And that was just fire. Alright. Now you're gonna see what this ship kicks ass at. These are cruisers. Watch what the Montana does to enemy cruisers. Oh! Oh yes! And secondaries kick in. Oh. Goodbye. Goodbye. That was nothing, folks. It's just starting. So I designated for my secondaries. They're tearing into him. Oh, 12,418. Secondary still kicking his butt. 6,300. Goodbye. Haha. Alright, so now we have some enemy that's a bit more formidable. Okay, I gotta do something. So fires are out. I'll heal that up. Uh-oh, he came up from behind me. So here's where you gotta put some strategy together. Right now, you can see that I'm actually quite well angled against this cruiser, but I am horribly angled against this battleship. If I stay on course, I'm going to get the living daylights pounded out of me, and I'm already hurting just because of fires. So I'm going to turn to my starboard, try to head up that line, that way I can remain angled against this battleship and have a lot of guns pointing at this weaker cruiser. Goodbye. Alright, now I've got to deal with this guy. Oh, he's going to feel that. 10,000. $5,000. Hey, just so you know, look at the middle of the ship. It's a darker color now, whereas the bow and the stern are not. I keep forgetting about this, but when a section of the ship goes dark color, it means that it's near or at its damage saturation point, and you'd be better off throwing shots someplace else. Continuing to send shots into that area does comparatively less damage. Citadel hit. Oh yeah, I want another one of those. Overpen. Alright. So, we've reached the point in the battle where I can take a breath. There's only one ship left. We know exactly what it is. It's the enemy carrier, and it's always deep in enemy territory, steaming in circles, waiting for us to charge in and make its life a living hell. Let me zip ahead a bit in the video. Ah, there it is. Oh, that's a long ways away. I don't think I'm going to get him. I am a terrible long-range sniper, and that's something I got to work on. Missed. Well, it's pretty much over. I'll zip ahead a bit in the video. Maybe I'll get lucky. I was expecting him to turn to his right. No, he started turning to his left. That's a miss. Oh, got one. This overhead perspective with the spotter plane, I suck at it. There we go. Could have had it right there. Could have had the kill right there. And they got him. Yeah, he's history. Alright. Wasn't bad, 135,000 damage. Took number 1, thanks. Sunk 4, always cool. Now if you made it this far in the video, I'm glad you did, because there's something you need to see. Right there. Remember I said this was a very expensive ship to run? Yeah. Without premium, it's even more expensive. And realize I was running a 10% savings flag. Anyway, so that is the Montana. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't be afraid to change ammo types. Get the right mods for your play style. Bear in mind that she cannot penetrate 32mm bow armor with most ships, not with 16-inch guns. That's it. Hey, thanks for watching. Stay safe and have fun.